There are heroes among us. Welcome to the Hen Report from our hen house. This is Jasmin Singer.
This is Mariann Sullivan.
So nice to see all of you today, although I'm not seeing anyone but you. But it's nice to see you, Mariann.
That made no sense whatsoever, but thank you.
Yeah, anytime.
We can't see you, by the way. I just want people to be reassured. No, we can't see you.
Maybe one day soon, AI will.
Maybe not.
The Our Hen House podcasts come out multiple times a week. Rising Anxieties comes out on Tuesdays, the Hen Report on Thursdays, and the long form interview on Fridays. Bonus content for Flock members comes out on Mondays. We are on any podcatcher where you like to listen to podcasts, and probably on podcatchers where you don't like to listen to podcasts. And we're on YouTube. So hit subscribe, hit like, comment wherever you listen. It really does help us. So, Mariann, you wanted to talk about the doggies.
Well, yeah, I mean, this is the story of the moment. I think we should be talking about it all the time. It's about Ridglan, and they are currently in the planning process for the next rescue at Ridglan, which is currently scheduled for April 19th, which I particularly like the date because it is Patriots' Day, which is only a holiday in Massachusetts, but should be a holiday everywhere because it's the anniversary of the Battle of Lexington and Concord. Which, like, what better day? And one of the reasons I know that, well, I lived in Massachusetts for a while, but also when I was in 4th grade, I had to recite The Bride of Paul Revere by Longfellow.
Can you do it?
No, but I do know the 18th of April in 75. So the 18th of April, that's why it was Paul Revere's ride. The 18th of April in 75, hardly a man is now alive who remembers that famous day and year. And then you skip a little, and according to Paul Revere, one if by land, two if by sea, and I, on the opposite shore, will be ready to ride and spread the alarm through every Middlesex village and farm for the country folk to be up into arm.
What just happened? You do remember it.
That's the only part I remember. It's very long.
I'm very impressed.
It is kind of crazy that I remember that, isn't it? Anyway,
you learned it when you had a smushy brain.
4th grade.
Oh.
And
but Ridglan.
All right.
What does that have to do with Ridglan?
I'm going to stop talking about my 4th grade career. I could go on, but I'm not going to. All right. This is and there's this article from Fox 6 in Milwaukee.
Fox? Why are we reporting on Fox?
Well, it's just a local station, and they're not necessarily as problematic. Ridglan Farms activists plan, though it is notable that it's Fox, because it's a pretty friendly article. Ridglan Farms activists plan return amid increased security measures. And so they're talking about, they've obviously covered the last time activists went in and got some dogs out, and they're planning on going back, currently planned for the 19th. And Ridglan apparently reached out to the local congressional representative, Mark Pocan, I hope I'm saying that right, and asked for protection from what it described as animal rights extremists. Ridglan obviously thinks that everybody likes them. Ridglan is wrong. Pocan said, who is a Democrat, I don't even know if this is real, to be honest. I've been doing this now my 14th year. I've never had a company ask for security protection from Congress. And he goes on to, because they are expecting 2,000 people to come and rescue dogs. And in a letter Monday, Pocan urged Ridglan Farms to focus on rehoming dogs instead, saying prioritizing the safe rehoming of every beagle possible. Honestly, my bigger concern, as someone who's part of a caucus that's focused on animal rights in Congress, that what they're doing breeding beagles for scientific experiments is something that they already have a court order to quit doing, and they should probably focus on that court order. In this case, Ridglan has certainly slow-walked it and are now facing potentially other situations. Like, I just feel like some tide turned here. Like,
that's amazing.
Yeah. I mean, politicians, they skate that. I don't know anything about this guy, so, I'm not saying anything bad or good about him, but just in general, they skate that area hopefully between leadership, providing leadership, assuming the leadership is in a good direction, and figuring out, what people are willing to hear. And obviously, this fellow thinks that people are willing to hear that dogs matter. Asked about a potential clash between activists and security, Pocan called it a lesson for the embattled breeder. Why are they playing games, I think is the question. I love this guy.
Yeah.
Him.
So do you feel like what's going on with Ridglan, you said you feel like a tide is turning. Why do you think that is?
Well, I think I meant on Ridglan specifically that, the tide has not been severely against the animal activists in the Ridglan case, but the fact that they could get such a positive and approving sign from a politician, I think is a sign that they've really got the public on their side. But also, just in general, I mean, we have to take things as if people are on the side of these dogs, then people are questioning more the whole question of animal research and what every time the tide turns, we have to make plans to ride that wave if we can.
I have to tell you, I got a tattoo the other day. I know you know that. My Judy Garland tattoo, my first session of 2. It was a 7-hour session. And anyway, the healing is making me want to die. But all of that aside, my lovely and talented tattoo artist, I was telling her about Ridglan, and she was like, "Where do I sign up? I'm there." Like, it was so guttural. Like,
yeah. I wish I was going. I feel like a loser, but I can't pull it off.
Well, and then wait, hang on. Don't feel like a loser. What? Like,
I do.
Wait.
I can't help it.
Mariann,
I can't help it.
The whole thing that we say at our hen house that we believe in is that people need to know where they fit and where they're best used.
Yeah, well, I could be there.
But you're here.
I would have trouble being there because my knees hurt so much. But, other than that,
it's not the right.
All right, we don't have to have this conversation.
I know,
right now.
but I don't. I want you to set a precedent.
I feel like a loser.
I want you to set a precedent for other people, though, that like we need to know where we're at.
Well, I think we should all try to take the day to do something special.
I love that.
I mean,
what day is it?
Well, it's currently scheduled for April 19th.
Okay.
The Battle of Lexington and Concord.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you sang the song or did the poem.
Well,
whatever
the poem is on the 18th of April because Paul Revere's ride was on the night before the battle. All right, so we're basically Paul Revere here, calling out the
Well, okay, so let me just go back to my
I'm kidding, everybody. I don't think I'm Paul Revere.
So so I was talking to her about Ridglan, and it I'm sitting there for 7 hours with her, and it wound up being this really great conversation about farmed animals and open rescue and
that's the thing.
Liberation. And she said, she was like, I've been vegetarian for a really long time. And I'm like, okay, score. Like, I've got this girl. Like, she, we're going to bring her over. It's so easy. But so, yeah, I mean, I think that there's just, when you say that there's a tide turning, there's a lot shifting here. And it's really, truly incredible.
I'm just going to add a couple of more comments because I didn't finish all of the comments and I don't want anybody to miss them because I thought this article was unbelievable. Ridglan issued a statement. They were obviously disappointed. They can't believe that there's people in charge who don't agree with them because they used to dealing with the USDA. And they said, as we told our representative, by whom they meant Pocan, who represents the area they're in, one of our primary concerns is the safety of residents in our small but close-knit farming community. I mean, come on.
That's funny.
Shit. And also, our facility is not under any court order. Instead, a joint settlement was reached. Well, the court didn't issue an order because they reached a settlement. It's the same thing. They agreed that they have to get rid of these dogs. And obviously, they want to get rid of them in a way that profits them. Oh, I hate them. I hate them. I hate them. Should I not use the word hate? Sometimes people get mad when you use the word hate.
People get mad when you use the word.
Oh, and the other thing I wanted to talk about, and indulge me for a moment. I just, I wrote a whole article in the Law Review that I've mentioned a million times before about open rescue. And I never mentioned the Hegins pigeon shoot. And when people talk about open rescue, they don't really mention the Hegins pigeon shoot. And I do not want our world to forget the Hegins pigeon shoot, which was unbelievable. And this was in the 90s, so it was a while ago. It's when I was first getting I heard about it when I was first getting interested in animal rights issues. You know, it was harder to hear about things then because there wasn't any internet. It's hard to imagine. All right, so in Hegins, Pennsylvania, and plenty of other places in Pennsylvania, but Hegins was the big one. They had pigeon shoots. It was charming. They would actually, and this was established later, it was always rumored that this happened, but it was established later on that it really did happen. They would come to New York City. They would just net because, you know, in New York City on plazas and whatever, you might get hundreds of pigeons all like hanging out. They would net them. They would put them in a truck. They would take them to Pennsylvania, to this park, the Fred Coleman Memorial Park, and they would on Labor Day they would shoot them. Like, it was unbelievable. And
yeah, I'm surprised.
Huge. It was huge. They had a huge crowd. It was a great community event.
I'm surprised that it's fallen off the radar because I didn't get involved until the early aughts, and it was still very much kind of iconic.
Yeah, it was over by then. They had won.
It was over.
Then. Well, they hadn't won completely. Like it was complicated, but it ended up being legal issues, and they did end the Hegins pigeon shoot. But also, what happened is this thing that I'm reading, which is just something I got off of AI to remind me of the details. They had these trapper boys who were local boys who would release the boys, and then they would, after the shoot, they would run onto the field and collect the wounded or dead pigeons. The wounded ones, they would wring their necks so that they would be dead too. And then it was the Fun for Animals, which, you know, has since it's not defunct. It merged, that ran this, and huge protests. And it said the Fun for Animals, it says here on my AI, the Fun for Animals began intense protests leading to confrontations, arrests, and intense media attention. But it was so much more than that. They had vans there that were set up with veterinarians in them, that were set up as rescue sites. When the trapper boys would run onto the field to get wounded pigeons, the rescuers would run onto the field to get wounded pigeons, grab them, take them back to this van where they would be treated for their injuries. It was insane and beautiful and horrifying. And after that, there was legal action, and, you know, it was a big, big deal in the animal rights movement. It was harder to get the word out about anything then because there wasn't internet. And in 1999, they canceled the, you know, I kind of wonder if I would have shown up that year, because that was like when I kind of started to find out about it. They haven't done it since. So there have been other pigeon shoots, I think, in Pennsylvania. I don't know, and I apologize for this. I don't think they're totally illegal. So there may still be work to be done, but it was barbaric, and the actions of the activists were so courageous. Anyway, yeah. I wanted to mention that in the context of Ridglan, like, this movement has a history.
Well, I'm glad that we're talking about that. Keep it alive. Keep it alive. It's amazing to think about how many brave, badass activists' efforts have just fallen into, you know, the ether. Like we don't know what they are, and there are heroes among us.
A lot of people talk about writing a history, and some people do write histories. I just feel like maybe history should wait until we achieve more, but also there's a real, you know, we don't want to forget it.
Yeah, I get worried about writing histories because I feel like they're always going to be written from the bias of the writer. And like, one thing I've learned from doing our hen house is just there's no movement. I mean, we refer to the movement, but what is a movement? You don't get like a card, you know, club card saying
you didn't get your card.
All right, let's move on. Let's talk about some good news. I love it when, although that was good news, I would say, but I love it when you pull out these stories.
All right, Ann Esselstyn, wife of Caldwell Esselstyn, whom I'm sure many of you know, famous cardiac surgeon, I guess, cardiac doctor, huge plant-based advocate. His wife, Ann Esselstyn, just won she's the oldest person who ever, I think this is how you put it, whoever did a dead hang, which is hanging from a bar for over 2 minutes, I think. And she went well over 2 minutes, almost 3
Mariann,
minutes.
I just want you to know I've hung out at bars for well more than 2 minutes, and nobody wrote an article about me.
Yeah, no, we should complain. And she just won the Guinness World Record. She's in the Guinness World Records.
Amazing.
For doing the longest dead hang at the age of 90.
That's awesome. Wow.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I work out at the YMCA in this thing called the circuit or the E-circuit in space. But hang on, my YMCA app tells me like my age in my weightlifting age, and here's my good news. It went down to 63.
That is just really sad.
I am 46, really but sad. Now my weightlifting age has gone down to 63. It does not count my cardio.
Oh, it's great that you had progress.
My cardio.
You're not the strongest person on the planet.
No, but you know that's not my strength. Ah! All right, stop me, please. All right, these frogs. This is such a sweet story.
It's a random article, but I wanted to talk about it. This is in Poland. And
Citizen Frog Patrol helps amphibians survive a dangerous road journey in Poland. And this was from the Associated Press. And it's talking about how a frog patrol is basically humans helping amphibians survive dangerous road crossings for a chance to enjoy these millennia-old mating rituals. Did you find it?
I did. Amazing. I love these stories. This happens in a lot of different places. I think it happens not too far from us. I think I read that in Braiding Sweetgrass. And every, frogs migrate, like not far, but they migrate from where they spend the winter and to their ponds. And in this particular type of frog, the females carry the males on their back to the pod. Which is an interesting way to do it. Not sure I approve, but they got to live their own lives. And so they've been doing this for a gazillion years. These frogs have everywhere. And then somebody builds a road, and somebody built a road there, and somebody's built roads everywhere. And then thousands and thousands of frogs get squished because they don't change the way they go. They just keep going the way they've always gone. And so here in Poland, in this area of Poland, just like in many other places, people go out every single night of the spring during the mating season, and carry the frogs across the road. It's so beautiful. Like
it really is.
Loads of people. I bet friendships are made, and people get to know each other, and it's hard. It's obviously hard work, but I bet they feel really, really good. And I was just thinking, I know I have talked about this before, and I don't want to make it sound like I think animal rights is a religion, because I think it's different. It's fact-based, not faith-based. But we need things like, we need some of the structures that religion has used to spread the word and bring people solace. And I've talked about sanctuaries as being sort of like our churches, places where we get together and we don't have to explain to the rest of the world what we believe. And I think this is, but I've been thinking, after I said that, I've been thinking a lot of, but we also need rituals. Rituals are important. I mean, not meaningless rituals, but things that we do that have meaning beyond even what they are in and of themselves. Of course, saving these frogs matters in and of itself, but it also, I think, it's kind of like a ritual where people get together and do this thing every year. And I think it's beautiful.
You've always been, I mean, it's funny because so much of what people gravitate toward with religion and with celebrating religious holidays is actually just the rituals. And I think it is very much a human instinct to have rituals, and it really is beautiful, and it really is in and of itself its own kind of spiritual experience. And it doesn't have to be tied to something super oppressive, as it so often is. So I've been very inspired by your you know, affection toward rituals, and I think this is really beautiful.
Oh, that's nice. I that's nice to hear. I think I need more of them in my life. And the fact that it's a little difficult, I think adds to its meaning. Going out there on rainy spring nights, is not easy. I'm sure there are many nights that people don't want to do it, but they think, but those frogs need me.
Mm-hmm. Oh. All right. So let's switch gears. I wanted to talk about this book that I just finished reading. I told you a little bit about it, but not too much. And I also kind of want to say a lot of people love this book. I didn't. But I, finished it. So
it's
either I'm a
it's a
mess.
popular book.
Yeah, it's a really popular book. It's called The Afterlife Project by Tim Weeds. And it takes place in like the current day, but the current day is not 2026. The current day is like 2068. But let's make that the current day, okay?
I'm confused already.
That's the foundation. Like the current day in the book is our future. Is 2068.
Right.
It takes place between then and like tens of thousands of years in the future, where they send someone from 2068 to basically try and save humanity or bring back humanity. So a lot of where the book is when it's in its present, because it's bouncing back and forth, is a future that we can feel, right? Like 2068, it's not that far away.
Right.
And it's like all of our worst nightmares, like there's a hyper pandemic that wiped out a lot of civilization. There's like extreme climate catastrophes, like all of the bad things have happened. And there's kind of like the only hope is somehow they are able to send someone way into the future and see if like children no longer exist, so they're trying to find if anyone can procreate to continue humankind. And anyway,
sounds cheery.
I like dystopian. I do. And I do find some kind of strange solace in a world without humans in it. Which I know is a dark thought, and I wasn't sure I was gonna share that, and I don't wanna get too much into it because I actually do find hope in it, though. It makes not that I wanna, go kill everyone, but
I don't wanna go kill everyone. But I like the idea that we're not gonna take everybody out.
Right. Yeah, so okay, so at the beginning of this book, I thought that there was a lot of, there was a lot I liked about it, and one of the things I liked was they were kind of, n there was some exposition about where the world was at, and one of the things was, like, talking about when animal meat went out of what became illegal, and the only kind of meat that existed was cultivated meat.
Oh, wait a second. We're in 2068 now, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
And I think it was, like, the 2050s or something, the animal meat went out of favor, and it just all became cultivated meat. And I was like, I think I even told you at that point how much I liked the matter of factness of it. And it was like, well, obviously that's what happened then. However, they send this man into this like future, and cats survived. Domestic cats survived.
I wouldn't be at all surprised.
And so that was like a sort of sweet little aside that this guy becomes friends with cats, and like, they become his companions basically. But he's there for a very, very long time by himself. And he's sort of surviving the way we imagine like early Homo sapiens did, with like in the elements.
This is the guy in the way future.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm terrible at explaining books. I'm sorry.
No, it's probably me.
Anyway,
it's a little complicated.
So I'm sitting there like finding hope, and I'm like, okay, this is good. Maybe we have a chance to do this again. Like, humans ruined everything. Maybe we can do it again. And then, like, obviously he's describing nature and he's describing the animals, and some of the animals are eating other animals as they do. But then he starts to kill animals, like, with a spear. And I'm sitting there like, "Can't you just eat some friggin'
We're gonna do
vegetation?"
the whole fucking thing all over
That's
again, as
the reason I
bad as
wanted
we
to
did it
bring
the
this
first
up.
time.
That's why I wanted to bring this up, because there was so much about this book that was, like, precious and insightful about how humans ruined everything, and they're kind of showing this future as something sort of idyllic in a way, and all I can see as I'm
Yeah.
reading it is we're gonna do this again. And I know, like, your ordinary person is probably like, "Well, other animals are eating other animals," but humans know better, and this guy saw how bad things got because we eat animals, and humans are inherently greedy, and so in this world where we're starting all over again, there's going to be a supply and demand issue, and factory farming will become this fantastic solution to it, and we're going to wind up doing the exact same thing again. And I know I'm, like, extrapolating a lot here, but I didn't I just it really soured the entire book for me.
Yeah. Yeah. So that especially when you're that far into a book and it's giving you a little hope, and then for them to just pull the rug out from under you by not getting it. Very disappointing.
There was also a mention of, like, how he was looking there's animals all around him, and how he was looking for any other sign of a sentient life form, meaning a human. And I'm like,
Yeah, we
like,
gotta stop using that word. Nobody knows what it means.
he used the word I mean, the author, Tim Weeds, used the word sentient. Was the
Yeah,
only time
but
I've
but are you
Yeah,
saying that but he meant
he didn't
like
yeah, he meant
intelligent,
human.
like you having
Human.
human-like intelligence.
Yes,
That's
exactly, which,
yeah, I ran into I
an
think I mentioned it
oxymoron.
before. I ran into another science fiction writer who I didn't read, I was just hearing her interviewed, but she was very famous. Sorry, I don't remember who she was, but she
So
talked
famous.
about writing a book that would include sentient cats. And everybody was
Oh
like,
my
"Oh,
god.
sentient cats." The word, like, we need to stop using the word. We all know what it means. They don't know what it means.
I
Just
know,
use
I agree.
conscious.
I agree. But, like, it did I will say, it did remind me of how lucky I am to be in this fucked up world, but knowing myself and knowing my purpose. And I know that you think about this a lot, and it's something that I don't take for granted, ever. The fact that, like, we are here for such a specific reason, you know?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think it's, I feel like I had a really low couple of days this week, and that happens from time to time, but it's not like it was when I was young. And I think that's just a factor of age. You just don't get as the dark moods aren't as dark as you get older. I don't know why. Not for everybody probably, but I think probably for most people. You just don't get suicidal. Like you don't have that much time left, I guess. I don't know. But in any case, I just thought, like, one of the things that does make a difference for me is that as bad as it all is, I at least know what my life is about. I feel like so many people, all their lives, they're really kind of searching and finding really some really bad answers to what their life is about. To the central, like, there's a yearning I think that most people have to, like, have this central question answered about, like, what am I about? Like, what am I for? Like, what am I doing here? And I think we have an answer to that.
I love
It can be
that.
it can be religious or it can be not religious. It doesn't matter. And I think it does keep you from deeping too far into depression, not because you pull yourself out and say, "Well, I can't be depressed. I have to save the" nothing practical like that. It's just that knowing a little bit more about who you are and why you're here is helpful in getting through the
Mhm.
hard times, which we're all experiencing a lot of these days. Well, maybe those of you who are in other countries aren't in quite as bad a place,
Well, it
but
depends on the country.
depends on the country and depends on how where you are of what's going on here. Things are bad.
But
I'm sorry. I'm
but
sorry.
animal rights activism and veganism, it's like a bit of a compass, and I love that. I mean, I don't wanna ever let that go.
Yeah, I agree.
So do we have any announcements today?
Yeah, there's one that we were sent, and we wanted to mention it. It's this Moving the Menu project. It's a report from World Animal Protection. And it doesn't tell us anything we don't know, but I really like that they're doing this. It's grading fast food restaurants, popular fast food restaurants in the US on across 5 categories, like just really categorizing what we already know. Their burgers, their chicken, quote unquote chicken, their coffees, their sandwiches, and their Mexican food. I think it's interesting that Mexican food is its entire own category, which, well, it should be. And they almost all did really, really bad. Like in burgers, they all got an F, except for Burger King, which got a C because it has Impossible Whoppers. Chickens, everybody got an F. Nobody has like plant-based chicken. Coffee, we're doing better with coffee. And both Pete's and Starbucks got B's. And it's interesting. It's depressing. It shows how far we have to go. But I really like the way they set it up. And I really hope they're going to proceed with a campaign based on these grades and trying to get more plant-based options. And one of the things I particularly loved is in the email we got telling us about it. They mentioned the fact that plant-based protein is coupled with fiber, which is my new, I say that every week. And animal-based protein is not, and fiber is where it's at. So this looks like it could turn into a very useful campaign.
And
even right now, it tells you what you know, and what you know is very depressing because they're all bad. It's unbelievable. Like all of these places, they have nothing.
So check it out at movingthemenu.com, and maybe it'll inspire you to go get some vegan food out in the world. And if you do, you could pay for it with your Visa, because Visa is having a moment. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, sure. I mean, it seems like every week now we do an announcement on Coalition to Abolish the Fur Trade's latest success. Now, we know that they were focused on their next project after their recent Etsy victory, is going after Milan Fashion Week in Italy. If it was in New York, it would be Milan, because that's how you pronounce Milan, Milan in New York State. And which is still, super, super into fur. And so they're going after their sponsorships. They're very, very organized in how, I would be terrified if these people were after me, because they really know what they're doing. All right. So they went after Visa, which is a sponsor of Milan Fashion Week. They had protests at several of its headquarters, demonstrations outside the homes of Visa executives in London, Munich, New Jersey, New York, Massachusetts, Miami, Atlanta, and San Francisco. These people are seriously organized. Also, another disruption of a talk by Carlo Capassa, who I guess is the president of Camera Nazionale della Moda Italiana, which I think runs the Milan Fashion Show. And I only put it in there because it was fun to say. And, here they are. Visa. It's gone.
Wow. I love that story. I do
too. I love what they're doing. It's like I said, every week we're doing another review of another success. Nice work. Susie Stork. I mean, if you missed her interview, which just, I don't know, a month or two ago, make sure you catch it.
Not even. Yeah. Well, it's nice to end on a positive note. I like that a lot. So I just wanted to reiterate that if you're here in the Our Hen House world right now, don't forget that Rising Anxieties comes out on Tuesdays, the Hen Report on Thursdays, the long form interview on Fridays, bonus content for Flock members comes out on Mondays. And thank you all so much for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe and like and hit comments. Hit comments. Don't hit the comments. Comment. We have a great episode tomorrow with Jordi Casamajana, and I keep thinking about this interview. I really, really loved it.
It was lovely.
Yeah, he's a lovely human being, so make sure you check that out. And thanks again for tuning in. We'll talk to you next time.